Hello, Pisces, to your timeless, the love variant reading, where anything that is in the realm of love may come up in regards to being single, partnered up, married, divorced, widowed, karmic, divine, polyamory, whatever wants to be discussed may be discussed. Keep that in mind. These messages, Pisces, may resonate more if it can be found in Sun, Rising, and or Jupiter position. However, if you're here in Pisces being in your Moon, Mercury, and or even Venus position, you may be here for emotional redemption, where I will ask that you check out my sister channel. The link can be found in the description box below. Whereas this reading will provide you universal justice. Okay, so bear in mind that to take the messages as they may resonate for you, of course. And as you leave the reading behind, take only that of which fits into your narrative. To know that I'm a master healer, so I look forward into not only providing tarot services or healing services anywhere you reside on this earth. Reach out to me again via the description box below. All right, Pisces. What to make of this energy? It's like hot potato. Honestly, it's like hot potato. You really want to play a game of hot potato, but the potato is too hot, so you can't hold on to it for too long. But you don't want to drop it, because if you drop it, you're out of the game. It's like you don't know what to do. And you and Capricorn energy is kind of like the energy right now that Ether doesn't really want to read for, because you have and you know too much of the gateway of possibilities to show up to accountability. Some of you think that to be a kiss ass is a way to show up and have accountability, and it's just not true. You don't kiss nobody's ass. I think you owe someone an apology. And I think until you make that very clear of how apologetic you are, you will not be taken seriously for the small things you are trying to be to present as being the breadcrumbs of how responsible you maybe feel, or how you are sorry. Like, those little breadcrumbs are just not helping the person that comes to your mind in your life that is suffering due to your actions or inactions. This could be a former friend. This could be your children. The breadcrumbs are in question here. All right, paying attention to the things that you are leaving behind, that you also consider in wanting to clean up, because who wants to walk around with dust bunnies too much around, right? But at the same time, you have dirty habits that you don't really care for that, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense of how polished your mind can be for how unpolished your environment may be at the same time too, because that's where the unalignment is. The unalignment is your environment is not as clean as you're trying to convince this reader and whomever is attached into this energy of how astute you are into maybe being an intellectual, and for people just overall to take you seriously. They can't take you seriously if the words are not matching your environment. It doesn't mean people are judging you for who you are. It is about your words and the energy that they carry are not matching the legitimacy of what people need energetically to make sense of who and what you are crossing their paths. And then someone came and tested you. Someone even more powerful than you came and crossed your paths, is no longer attached to you. And your ego is testing you on how to not only forgive yourself, understand the narrative of forgiving, try to make sense of that shit, try to accept that shit, and still find a way to rekindle what you think you've lost out of. Because remember, this person is stronger than you, meaning not stronger emotionally, but more powerful, more gifted. And this person has already forgiven your actions or inactions before you even bounce to the idea of needing to start accepting this topic. The person already did, because the person is no longer in need of you, and that has you suffering. You need someone, and most likely some of you need someone that already has came into your life before. But this person is not active in your life, and it drives you nuts. It drives you insane, especially if this is also your children. It drives you insane that your children are not searching out for you. It drives you insane in how these children are also potentially not having an emotional relationship with you, but you're blaming them and not yourself. There's something in your world that is unaligned. And until you find it and become aligned with it, you need to stop blasting other people or throwing energy at other people to put them in unalignment, because someone's doing that shit too. Some of you are tossing negative shit around and putting other people in unalignment when you have no business in doing that. No business in doing that, especially when you are in alignment as well. So figure it out, because Ether's pissed. All right, the Spy Master. Knowledge, distrust. Someone's highly intellectual, like I said. Someone is the intellectual. Someone has the keys, figured out the key galactically, has meditated, been there, done that kind of bullshit. You have seen suffering. You know what suffering is. You know what being enslaved to the system is, and you want no part of it. Whether it's translating that and holding yourself accountable to picking a religion and hiding behind that, sure, go ahead, do it. But see how fruitful that will make you. No offense, not meant to hit you personally, but whatever brings you here is already questioning your religion. Because I guarantee your religion is not asking you to go seek this reading out. But that has you also confused of how much this resonates, and when you walk into a temple of whatever that you go worshiping your religion, you don't get this type of feeling. Whatever you get here, you don't get to wherever you got your basis of religion from. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Even if you're hating what is said here, you're still here listening out. And even if you're exiting, you're going to be taunted by whatever was left before you exited out. Because these energies belong to you. You don't see me. I don't see you. And if you resonate with any other thing, any of it in any way, whether you also hate it or you love it, you are participating in this chaos. The Puppeteer, explanations and apologies. All right, like I said, some of you are losing control of this narrative to be an adult, narrative to be a parent, narrative to be a mother or a father, narrative to be a sibling, a daughter or a son. Like, you're losing out on it because that was never the role for you to fulfill. Someone said that to you a long time ago. Like I said, someone crossed your path who was more powerful than you, but your ego wouldn't let that happen. Your ego wanted to prove to that powerful person that you have the gift too, that you are gifted as well, that you wanted to prove your gift. Like, there's so much proving that you wanted to toss it to this individual. This individual didn't care about your powers because they cared about their own powers. The only care that they had was meshing your gift and their gift together to get into a formula of possibilities. But you were integrated with so much deep down to the core insult that you couldn't even deal with the fact that your shadow self was taking complete control of this relationship or relation or friendship, whatever the fuck this stranger was or wasn't. There was a crossroads and your person crossed your paths. And a version of control is that you want to control the narrative for this person to cross your paths again. But that's not how it works. Libra goes through the same fucking problem, trying to manifest their synchronicities. That's not how synchronicities are supposed to work in you perceiving them when you come across them, or how they're designed and giving you the clue to what has happened when you come across and witnessing something that you call a synchronicity. If you call it a synchronicity of seeing an 11:11, it just stamps the fact that everything already had happened. You seeing that symbolism pretty much quote unquote sealed the deal. But it's not already happened. It did already happen. It's not already going to happen. It's not going to be an effect. It's already happened. It's a negotiation that doesn't need your permission to execute. Just like some of you are not attuned masters of any type of energetical healing, but you go around binding individuals. You're throwing the red cord of spiritual damnation around them, and thinking that in doing that and incentivizing that incentivized intention onto other people does not do you harm? What? How do you go around binding people in their energies, some brujeria shit, and say that you are not responsible in doing that? That there will not be any cost to that shit? Like, that shit's just wild to me. This is gonna go to like so integrated binary coding, like how dare you fuck with ether like that? She has a binary coding. She has the zeros and ones. Without her, you have no pixelated color to be any sort of an expression. So you're not superior. You do not need to get an eye to eye from anyone. So stop asking for it. Stop forcing a narrative that just will not force itself upon your existence, because this individual will not be puppeteered by you, Pisces. Because, like I said, this person is more gifted than you. This is not about you being less than this individual, but I will tell you that this person is more gifted than you. Whatever offense you take or get from this is also not the fucking point. So hopefully you get to the point of understanding what the intellectual key of that ultimate reason was to trigger in your mind as you leave the reading behind. No, not this one. All right. You're spiritually connected. Like I said, a lot of you are very powerful already, whatever that may fucking mean, because you've gone through so much. You've gone through being neglected by society, by religion, by community, by family, by friends. You understand what that feels like. But then you went on and did that too to someone. You did it to someone too. And this is where she gets really pissed. She sees that you did it to someone. You did it to someone, Pisces, or you're doing it right now. You did it, I don't know, you did it. He did it too. There's a sentiment of you did it too. So if you did it too, Pisces, and you didn't learn whatever needed to learn, you're continuing to whatever. I just can't, because you're going to keep arguing with me. You're going to keep arguing with me that the ego doesn't exist. That the ego exists, but that you just don't have the ego. That you come from the inner quarrels of who you are, and that's how everything just shows up. Okay, great. But what do you think everyone looks at when you're doing all this shit? People look at your vessel. That's your ego. People, when they look at you and they think about certain things and they don't say it out loud, that means they have perception. They have an inkling of whatever the fuck they want to think about you. They have prejudice. They have judgments. They have opinions. They are whatever they are when they look at you. That's your ego. People look at your ego. When you say an off-color remark, when you bring a response, when you interlude, when you prelude, whatever you do, it's your ego that takes the face of that. Because your ego is the one that wakes you up in the morning and brings you to sleep at night, asking you if you understand all of this shit. And then we call it, a spiritual journey. Right? Okay, the spiritual journey comes from within. Everything externally is my spiritual version of who I am. We're all mirroring one another. We're all like doing this interlocking of existence and interconnectedness and whatever. So if we're doing that, why are you doing what you're doing in negativity? Thinking that you have power. But then if somebody asks you of power, if you have power, you say, no, I don't work. I'm not God. I work in honor of God. All of a sudden, the power is not mighty because you won't subjectify to being the one responsible of having to have that thing done. All of a sudden, you wash your hands. Oh, it's not me. I didn't do it. It's fickle. It's fucking fickle. Ether doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care at all. But if you're a living, breathing thing, you have some version of empathy. Even a fucking plant has empathy. A dog has empathy. Anyway, what a mess with the Nine of Swords here and the Page of Swords saying it would make sense to start bringing in a different perspective that will help you sever ties viciously with your negative tendencies. You need to step into the fucking light, Pisces, and operate like that. You need to step into the light. Some of you are still in the dark, operating about all this love and light shit. But then when love and light enters your life, you bring nothing but turmoil or chaos to this shit because that's all you know. Severing the possibility of a prosperous relation coming from because that person is of light that crossed your paths. But if you step into the light and honor your darkness, you will take any obstacle that reminds you of former darkness and look at it and act and show up in a different way because it will prevent you from going back to where you once were. That's ownership, accountability, that no God is going to step into your fucking shoes and fulfill for you. You have to do it on your own. That's it. I'm leaving it here where they are, Pisces. Again, if you'd like any of my services, please check out the description box below. I'm looking forward to making any form of connections and to fortify however we are already connected already. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. I mean, you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.